Now that we have our networks and machines set up, let's set up a route to make the 11 network accessible from the 10 network. There are two ways to do it, so let's have a look at them. The first, which we will be going through in a moment, is to use Network Manager to save the route in our connection. Then there's a menu options for whichever distro you're using. And finally, you can set a route temporarily, which is useful for testing. To set up in Network Manager, we will look like this: an nmcli -mod, your connection name, and then the new directive ipv4.routes, and then in double quotes 11.0.2.0/24 for that network, space the IP address for our router or gateway. It's important that you put it in double quotes because you're passing along two arguments instead of just one. The second way to set it manually if you are not using Network Manager is to add the route to the configuration file. On CentOS, Fedora, and Red Hat, you will create a file called routers-connection name, like routers-mp0s3 that corresponds with the CFG file that you're using, and you will put in the same information in a little bit different way. In this case, the network via the gateway, or manually on Ubuntu, add it to the interface file under your interface stanza. In this case, it will read out router add-net and the network GW for gateway, and then the gateway address, which is our router. Or you can set a router temporarily, which will last until the interface goes down or the system reboots. Using the IP command, for example IP route add, and then our network via our router or our gateway, along with a specification of which device is attached to. Here on the 10 client, I will add the route with nmcli -mod ethernet 1 ipv4.routes 11.0.2.0/24 10.0.2.6 our network space the router or the gateway, and then I will reload the connection. Now, if I use the IP command to check out the routes with IP route show, I can see that I have another route in here, 11.0.2.0/24 via 10.0.2.6. Great. If you have a more complex network or more than one device, you will need to add an entry like this for each route in each direction. I will switch over the 11 client and make a similar route so it can talk back to the 10 network. Again, I will type nmcli -mod ethernet 1 ipv4.routes, and inside quotes this time I will type 10.0.2.0/24 11.0.2.6, setting the network and setting the gateway, and cycle the connection again. nmcli -down ethernet 1 and nmcli -up ethernet 1, and we will take a look at the routing table with IP route show, and there we are. Okay, we're almost there. We have our routing pointing in each direction, and the last step is getting these networks to communicate is to enable IP forwarding in the kernel of the router. To do that, I will edit the file sysctl.conf in etc directory. I will type vi/etc/sysctl.conf, and I will go into insertion mode and add the line net.ipv4.ip_forward = 1, and I will save and quit. And now, to get this to take effect without having to restart the machine right now, I will type sysctl-p. Let's switch over the 10 client and ping 10.0.2.7. It works great.